Hey guys, it's us, me and Amy, and we thought we would start out by. We've been off the grid for about 5 days, and we thought we'd start out with kind of just the history of what we've done. I know that you've looked for some videos up on YouTube, and we haven't been able to post pictures or videos or anything because we've been pretty much no cell service, no Wi-Fi. Where we were down at Lowell, we didn't have hardly any signal or hardly any Wi-Fi.
No.
We kind of had a little bit of civilization, but no Wi-Fi, and we just kind of
Landlines, if you can believe that.
yeah, they had landlines and payphone.
Payphone, and then we used our InReach to reach out to Caitlin to let her know we were safe.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we were at, but we wanted to kind of give you a brief catch up on what we've been doing, and then we'll upload this video for you. What we will do too is as we talk about and kind of give you a history where we're at, we will talk later about some of the other stuff we did. But what we will do is we'll post videos and photos that we took along the way, and we'll put those up. Probably try to get them in sequence to what we're talking about today, so that you can always flip back to this one and kind of hear the narrative of what's going on, and then find the new video coming up. So yeah, so where are we at today, Amy?
We are sitting along the edge of Seeley Lake, which is in Big Larch Campground of the Lolo National Forest. We are actually off of 83, which was a route that went north off of 12. So we headed into Missoula, and then just on the outskirts of Missoula, we took 83 north.
And along the way, what we did too is starting back after we left the Wilderness Inn, and about that Wilderness Inn, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's one of the places that I first experienced years ago with Les King and Mark, that we went elk hunting in that area, and we stopped at that little restaurant and ate before we went up into the mountains. And when Mark and I came back out, we stopped and stayed at that little motel and that rest park. So that was really neat. The same people. I've been running that for what I think.
Yeah, I think she said 45 years. So it was neat to experience it through Tom's eyes of what he and my brother Mark saw when they went out that way, and it was a nice refuge from the rain because we were soaked. All of our equipment, the tent, everything. So we just needed a few days to dry out, and they were very hospitable, great food.
It was good. It was really good. They're very nice. And then again, I told the story to the lady, the owners about coming in through there, and they got a chuckle out of that. So we stayed there, and then we did a lot of photography and a lot of video with the waterfalls, because the river was just unbelievable because of the snow melt and the rain. Like I said, it rained there. I think we had 4.5 days of rain, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, and so as we looked at the river, you would go to sleep at night, and it was not necessarily the lolling creek, babbling brook. It was roaring. It was beyond even the ocean surf, but it was very mesmerizing and peaceful. We did have one guy who was a guide who did rafting, and he said, sometimes he just needs to get away from the noise that we were thinking was beautiful, but he said after a while, that roaring in your ears gets kind of overwhelming, and you just want peace and quiet. But we were amazed at the river and the Lowell Falls. I'm sorry, the Selway Falls, mm-hmm. which I don't know much about rafting, but you would have to be top-notch pro rafter, kayaker, and riverboarding. They were doing riverboarding, which is something mm-hmm. I'd never seen through those falls. But he said in the summertime it's stuck down to just a trickle and some rocks. So.
Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting. And you'll see the video. Yeah, you'll see the video of this. I mean, if you're going down through there on any kind of watercraft, it would be amazing. We did try to get up to Lookout Butte 3 times.
Yeah.
and baby girl was put through her paces on that one. We try to get up to the highest point to get some video and some pictures of that, and we tried 3 different routes, and we got about, I would say, 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah, as far as we could tell, and ran into snow every time.
And then we ran into snow, and we just, we didn't want to chance that, so we turned around and came back. But we did a lot of exploring, a lot of sightseeing in that area, so that was really beneficial. Then at that point, we left that location, left the hotel area, the motel, left there, and we went to Colgate, the Colgate Campground. Is
Yes.
that where we were at?
Yes.
What was you? It was Campbell, or what'd you have?
I know. I think on the video you'll see attached later, I called it Calgary, Campbell. Anyway, it's Colgate.
Something.
It's Colgate Campground in the Clearwater National Forest.
Yeah.
So when you see that video, when we're going to kind of go over how the rig is set up, you'll have some narrative about that.
Yeah, and it was cool. We stayed 2 nights there, so it was really nice. And two, when you're out and about like this, it's kind of cool because we had people that came in from Massachusetts, and there's other folks from North Carolina, and campers and travelers, and it was really neat just to have conversation with folks like that. And I know I mentioned that when I was in Rainier, a family that I stopped and had lunch, and I talked to this family for about 20 minutes, and it's in one of the prior videos, and I looked at my comments on the comment section, and they referred to that, said it was a real good time that day, sitting around talking and things, and that was really neat. So just to have that conversation with folks of like-minded people who are out here trying to get away and enjoy nature and God's beautiful country, that's really neat too. So after staying there for a couple of days, what'd you think of that site, and what'd you think of that?
Oh, it was beautiful. That's where we were right along the riverbank. Not too close, because we worried about with that roaring river if it would start to wash out the bank. So we were, safe. We kept our distance back, but it was a gorgeous campsite. We had good campfires, and we had a little bit of rain, but on Monday, God blessed us with a nice sunny day, so we could get everything all dried out again that we had gotten wet from having dried out at the hotel. So we did get a little bit damp, but managed to keep a nice roaring fire, ate several yummy meals thanks to Tom.
And speaking of nice roaring fires, guys, I want to tell you, I've got, I think she missed her calling here, because I don't really think there's any dry wood or any smalls or anything that anybody can use for a campfire left in that area.
I combed it very well.
She pretty much picked it clean, but she kept that fire going, and I think we're the only camp that had fire going, actually.
Probably for that long.
Of the group, so that was
And it's
cool.
the National Forest, so the nice thing is they encourage you to clean up the downed wood. You would never cut down a live tree or live any sort of bush
or material or anything.
And yeah,
like that.
everything has to be
Just
dead.
ground cover.
You have to pick it up off the ground. You can cut up dead wood, which we did. We made a few journeys across Highway 12 into the deep woods. Our favorite thing is when you enter a woods quietly, you let the animal life know you're there,
especially the bear.
There were black bear in that area, so we were shouting out "Hey bear" here once in a while. But we would trek across the road with like armfuls of like cut logs. So we had a good time there.
It worked out really well. Then after that, we buttoned up everything and we headed east.
Yes, we stayed east on 12 towards Missoula.
And we ended up going to Powell. We stopped in Powell, Idaho to pick up fuel, because it was the only fuel station from, I think, 64 miles between fuel locations. One place way up in, what's it pronouncing that little town with the K? Koski. It was one location. Then the other location is this Powell. And they had a restaurant there, cabin, little store that had everything that you could imagine that you need in the outdoors. They had everything in there. And it was good. We spoke to a girl who was from Washington State, who was out working there. She's working there for the season, so that was cool. Got fuel and kind of headed down the highway. As we was headed down the highway, we stopped at one of the visitor center, which was closed, but we stopped there for a little while, looked around, and left. And once we left, we came across this place.
We went through Lolo Pass.
Went through Lolo Pass.
That was Lolo Pass. So we went. I think we stopped at that rest stop right before Lolo Pass. So then we drove through Lolo Pass, and before we got into the town of Lolo, we got kind of hungry.
And we found this place called the Jack Saloon. And if you have an opportunity to be in the area and you run across it, it's marvelous. It's an old,
built in the 1970s. It was a lumberjack camp. It was built all by
cedar logs brought in out of Idaho. And then I mean,
enormous,
2-foot round cedar logs built this place, and it was back off the road a ways.
Yeah.
It was back off the road, probably a mile.
Yeah,
But
we wondered after a while if we were like lost, and it kind of reminded me, and Mark would appreciate this, Chainsaw Sisters in Minnesota. But no, it opened up to this beautiful campground. I think that horse stable.
Camping, had RV
and
camping.
A nice bar and restaurant.
Little cabins, and a great restaurant. I mean, good food, bar. That was decored in old lumber and lumberjack stuff, logger stuff, old antique chainsaws, come-alongs, you name it, anything associated with the timber business. They had it. The motif was that.
Yeah.
And they had an old chainsaw there, a home light chainsaw that my grandfather had. And that thing you guys, some of you, my elder statesmen out there may know, if you've ever came across that, it was red with a green cover on the front, and that thing had to weigh. Well, when I used it as a kid, I thought it weighed about 300 pounds. But they had that, and you could tack dollar bills up on the everywhere. And so Amy and I filled out, a dollar bill, and we defaced currency, but that's okay. And I stuck it up by that chainsaw. So that was cool. Had a great lunch. From that point, we moved on and back still down east, or in 12 East, right?
Yep. That's when we got into downtown Missoula, and kind of just looked around a little bit, saw the big M up on the mountain for the University of Montana in Missoula, right? Mm-hmm. University of Montana?
I think it's the University of Montana or Missoula.
People could correct us in comments if that was wrong.
Yeah.
And what we were looking for again was dispersed camping, because it would have this is going to be my last night to be able to camp out kind of in the woods, and then I fly out Thursday, so we were gonna probably do a hotel tonight. I'm sorry. So I was looking for something way off the grid. I probably got a little carried away. We were way up in the mountains, off of something called Rice Ridge, and we're in grizzly country now. So as we climbed and switched back, and it got more and more
bear scat.
And we started seeing bear scat just literally in the road.
Yeah.
We thought, maybe we should go back to we had passed by several national forest campgrounds because now we are in Lolo National Forest, and so we did. We found a nice ranger in one of the spots, and we wound our way back to where we are at the very moment, sitting in Big Larch. And
that's part of the adventure too. I mean, again, like we talked before, you love to do the dispersed camping and be out in nature and all that, and we did. We had she came in, and I've had a great adventure to that, but like I say, this week's been real adventurous because I wanted to give her a feeling that she could take with her from this area, because like I said, I've talked about this for years, this area, and I wanted her to experience that, and we did. We looked high and low for a place, and there really wasn't that many pull-off spots to where there was camping, and we kind of thought, well, maybe the reason there's not so many pull-off spots where they camp is because there's a lot of bears here, because even the ranger told us up front, hey, this is really bear country, so you got to pay attention. So that might, and we came down. We've had deer walk through the camp. Matter of fact, Amy took a picture of a deer. It's probably 15 yards from baby girl over there, and it's been good. So we come in here and we've enjoyed it, and it's been a good thing. We're still in the National Forest.
We were still
Lolo,
careful with our food because
so
it is still a bear area. So, you know, we'd had some experience of that pack tripping in
Mm-hmm.
Yellowstone, so we knew what you do with your food at night to store it so that you don't bring any unwanted visitors. We still have a little mini mouse visitor in the Jeep somewhere
Yeah.
who's eating our paper towel, but we haven't found him or her.
I thought I dropped that burger off when I picked it up in Missouri.
Yeah, well, he followed you.
And I think I dropped it off, but I think he might have been hiding in there because
Yeah.
now we got somebody else living it. But that's
Yeah.
okay. They got to eat too, right? So, but no, we just wanted to kind of give you some insight on where we're at with that. And I want to say I appreciate once we did get into cell service and Wi-Fi, man, the phone just blew up, both our phones, and probably, I would bet 5, 6, 7, 8 people checked up on me, you know. And I know my good friend Tom Maioli, you know, you good, in bold capital letters, you know.
Yeah.
And yes, Tom, we're good. We're still kicking. Everything's working well. Everything's good. And for those that wondered where we're at, everything's good. So that's why we wanted to kind of put this together for you and let you know that number one, what's upcoming with our videos, and number two, that we're still out here, still plugging away. So.
And thank you for all your well wishes while we were off the grid for a moment. And I will tell you though, it's the most peaceful. You know, we're so constantly plugged in to everything. It's so nice to unplug. You know, we enjoyed each other's company. You know, you learn to conversate again instead of having your face or nose buried in your phone. So we apologize for the brief absence, but we don't really apologize.
We had a good time. So there you have it, and appreciate you guys. I really do. And thanks for tuning in. Little heads up, I think we're going to... I think Amy's going to join me in Colorado.
Maybe.
No, she's going to join me, I hope. She's planning on that.
Might be a short weekend.
Kaylin and her are planning on, we're going to go see our nephew Mitch there and go do some camping and hang out with him. So stay tuned. Appreciate you. You guys have a great day. And again, like we say, we'll talk to you later.